Hi everyone, my name is Aisha. I am the PM on Braintree SDKs.
Yeah. Hey everybody, I'm Jax. I'm the mobile tech lead for the Braintree SDK, so iOS and Android.
Hi everyone, I'm Joe. I'm on the Braintree Web SDKs team.
Awesome, and so with that, I'm gonna go over the agenda that we're gonna have for the talk today really fast. So I'm gonna start with introduction on Braintree Client SDKs, then I'll pass it over to Jax, who's gonna do the mobile SDKs. Joe's gonna walk through a little bit of the web SDKs, and then we'll leave some time for question and answers at the end. So, as an introduction to Braintree Client SDKs, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, what is Braintree? So Braintree is going to be a full stack payment platform which helps you as a merchant accept and process all of your payments, whether you choose to do it on your mobile native app or you choose to do it on a website. We support online and mobile payments as well as multiple payment methods that both Jax and Joe will go over in a little bit. So on Braintree, we have two different flavors of SDKs. There is the server side and there is the client side. To go over the server side really quickly, there is the GraphQL API, and then there's also the Braintree Server SDK, which supports 6 different languages. These compose the Braintree server side of things, but I focus now on the Braintree client side of things, which is the Braintree JavaScript, iOS, and Android SDK. As you can see on the left side, you have all the supported languages. So on web, as mentioned, we have the JavaScript SDK, and on mobile, we have both iOS and Android. For iOS, we support Swift and Objective-C, and for Android, we support Java as well as Kotlin, which we did a whole rewrite in our Android v5. What sets Braintree SDKs apart? So I like to think of it as these 3 big buckets, and I'll go more into these in depth in the following slides. The biggest thing that I think we keep in mind for our merchants and developers is the power to have flexibility if you choose Braintree SDKs. So as mentioned, available on web, iOS, or Android, but what's really awesome is you can fully customize your payment flows. So that means as a developer, you get to create your entire thing from scratch. And on top of that, you have access to tokenization, Vault, amongst many of the other APIs that are available on the PayPal platform. Additionally, with Braintree SDKs, you also have the ability to use everything that comes with PayPal as a backing. So you have multiple payment methods that you get supported through Braintree SDK, as well as support and access to a bunch of the global payment methods as well. There's a few features that we also support, which are like supporting our built-in recurring payments, meaning like subscriptions, such as whether or not you choose to do something on Netflix, etc., some stuff like that. And then we also have a really easy integration path with things like e-commerce and Shopify. And so as you can see, here's a mock-up of what it looks like to use one of our checkout pages. And lastly, you cannot be an enterprise developer without thinking about security as well. And so as mentioned before, we do have really awesome scalable infrastructure that comes with kind of the entire PayPal name as a whole. It's used to make sure that you can handle all of these high volume transactions and not have to worry about your users getting any of those errors. On top of that, we really do keep security in mind. That's something we build many of our features and all of our SDKs, making sure that you have access to tokenization as well as 3DS. And lastly, we have built-in risk prevention tools, especially on our hosted fields, and we also have device fingerprinting, risk tools, and a secure vault built in. So that is kind of a larger introduction to just Braintree client SDKs as a whole. And with that, I will pass it to Jax, who will do the mobile SDKs.
Hello, everybody. So as far as our mobile SDKs go, this is a list of all of the payment methods and features we support. Our SDK is very modular, which means that all of these live independently of one another. So you could start with PayPal and then eventually add credit card and Venmo or whatever you see fit for your business. And we're also always adding like new features and new modules and new payment methods. To kind of focus on a few key features that we've added within the past few years, a big one is PayPal App Switch. So with this uses universal links to allow switching into the Venmo app versus using a web view-based flow. And that's nice because it's a native-to-native experience versus being in a mobile app and then presenting a web page and going from there. From our testing and rolling this feature out, we've seen up to a 7% conversion lift from it, as well as this is also less clicks for the customer overall. So it's a 2-click experience versus kind of the old legacy PayPal flow on the web where you have to kind of click a bunch of buttons before finishing the checkout experience. And like I mentioned earlier, it provides a very native checkout experience. You're going from an app to another app versus going to a web page. Another thing that we've really focused on in the SDKs in the past year is analytics and latency improvements. So analytics-wise, we've added conversion-related events so that we can actually start to measure the conversion of all of our payment methods, which might seem very obvious, but for an SDK that's existed for almost a decade, we didn't have a way to really verify those numbers. And then focusing on, as part of AppSwitch, on the PayPal flows, so the vault and checkout flow, we were able to, at some points in time, reduce the latency of that flow by up to 25%, which was huge. And we're continuing to focus on reducing that number and improving that experience. Part of this as well, we really focused on improving our caching and analytics mechanisms, reusing connections on a mobile device. And for all flows, we were able to reduce the total latency by up to a second. So Aisha kind of hinted at this earlier, but as far as our major version timelines, so in 2021 was, until recently, the last time we released a major version of either of our SDKs. And that was iOS v5 and Android v4. Earlier than 2023, obviously, we started the development, but in 2023, we released iOS v6. We rewrote our entire SDK from Objective-C to Swift, which reduced the lines of code in the SDK by up to 30%. It also allowed us to really dig into the entire SDK and see where we could make improvements, where we could fix things, where we could make the developer experience feel better. And then in 2024, we did a very similar thing on the Android side. We converted the entire SDK to Kotlin, which again reduced lines of code, I think, for that SDK by around 25%. And both of these writing just in modern languages allows us to roll out and develop features faster than we ever have been able to before. So 2025 and beyond, so what are we doing? What are we looking for our future major versions? And how can we improve our SDKs? So the goals of our future major versions, so iOS v7 and Android v6, we're planning for those. iOS v7, we're hoping to release a beta sometime within the next month and then go GA later this summer after we've had a chance to thoroughly test things and make some tweaks as those betas get adopted. And then planning for Android v6. Our goal is to always use the platform and language best practices. Again, using modern languages was a huge reason that we were able to focus on this. We want to keep up with industry trends. Apple moves very fast. Anybody that has an iPhone knows that. They're always updating things. Same with Android. Google's releasing new versions all the time. Number 3, we want to strive for best-in-class SDKs. So we want to build a really nice SDK to use. So a big thing that we did for iOS v6 and Android v5 is all of our methods to tokenize a payment method before that were called something totally different. We had some flows that were calling it start payment flow and others using other names. We modernized that to call everything tokenized because that's what you're actually doing with the SDKs. And lastly, we want feedback. So, obviously we can follow Apple and Google's trends, see what they're doing, see what new features we're offering, but we're also looking for feedback from the developers on what they want to see in future major versions of our SDKs to make them easier to use, easier to integrate, easier to iterate on. Our SDKs on the mobile side are also fully open source. So come create a GitHub issue for something that you want to see, and we can work on adding that to our roadmap as well. So I'll hand it over to Joe to talk about the Braintree Web SDKs.
Thanks, Jax. Hi, everyone. I'm Joe. Excited to talk to you today about the Braintree Web SDK. Similar to the mobile SDK, there are lots of payment methods and features that we offer. Some major callouts here are hosted fields, our credit card form. This is our most popular feature. It takes the PCI burden off of you. It lets you customize your checkout experience to accept credit card payments. We also have some other cool features like the data collector and 3 to secure to really help you lock down your payment flow and to keep your customers secure. And then I'm going to go over a couple more that we've added in the last year. One product that really excites me is Fastlane. I'm going to stick to a high-level overview of this. I'm going to also promote tomorrow. The Fastlane team will be giving their own presentation, so I highly recommend checking that out. It's a really exciting feature. Basically, it allows you to allow your customers to check out without signing into their account. So it allows them to provide an email, and they could use some vaulted payment methods. And they are also able to use it across different stores. So the more merchants that adopt this product, the better it is for the end consumer, because they'll be able to kind of quickly and effortlessly sign out using one click across a wide variety of merchants. And if you've already integrated with our hosted fields component, you'll be familiar with the customization of it. It's just as easily customizable, and it's a very similar integration pattern. So if you want to take a look at this, it's similar to how you customize hosted fields. It's an exciting new product, and check out their talk tomorrow. Over the last year, we added a full-page redirect flow for SEPA, which is our Secure European Payments Authority, and local payment methods, which are alternative payment methods that are region-specific. This new flow was really exciting to me because it actually came from direct feedback from one of our merchants. They came to us, and previously these flows required a pop-up authorization, kind of similar to the standard PayPal checkout button. And we worked with this merchant who came to us and saying that they were seeing customers drop off that had pop-up blockers or just didn't want to deal with pop-ups because sometimes they could be a little abrasive in the checkout process. So we worked with them to see what would work, what solution for that, and we came up with a full-page redirect solution. And if you could see in the video, on your checkout page, it will redirect to the authorization page, and when the end buyer approves, it will redirect back, and you will get a nonce, which you can then send to your server side or send it through the GraphQL API to tokenize or vault that payment method. So what are we working on? If you caught the PayPal v6 talk earlier, we are looking to integrate with PayPal v6, so we're working with that team to get that product off the ground. We also want to do some modernization efforts. The big thing that I'm really excited about is adding official TypeScript support. We are hoping to kind of plan and roadmap that. And we're also looking for parity across the client SDKs. If you looked at the 2 slides that me and Jax talked about, you might have noticed a little subtle differences between some. So we're also working, we work very close to make sure that we have parity across the client SDKs. And then, like I mentioned, the local payment method and SEPA redirect flows were direct feedback from the merchants. So we do listen to you, and we want to make sure that you can customize your checkout experience that best fits your needs. So let us know what you are hoping to see from the Web SDK team, and we could kind of work with you and your account managers to get you the best flow. Now I'm going to, are there any questions for any of us, mobile web? Yeah.
What's the timeline on integrating the V6 PayPal APIs? That payment handler feature is really cool, and I really want it.
Yeah. Do you have any?
Yeah, I could speak to that a little bit. So I know that PayPal v6 is going live. It's going live. They're sorry, you're right. It's live. Okay, cool. So it's our roadmap for sure. I can't give like a concrete date, but it's definitely something that's on top of our minds. Yeah.
We're also hoping to have the PayPal app switch coming down the pipeline as well. So we're also working on that. If you caught some of the Jax's talk earlier today, he went over the PayPal app switch on the mobile SDKs. That is still coming for the web. So there's definitely some exciting things coming down for PayPal checkout.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about that? So for App Switch, that right now it's just mobile app to mobile app
Yep.
to mobile app.
Not yet, but that's how it would work. So your customer, if they're on the mobile browser, yeah, it will open up the PayPal app and then switch back to the browser.
If that's something that we're anticipating, the SDK would kind of completely handle, like checking if they have the app, handling if they don't have the app, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the SDK will handle the switches and the switch back as well. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Hand back there. Sorry to let you.
Does your server-side SDK support LPNs?
Yes, they do. And I can probably reference you to our documentation, which has the list of all of those LPMs. Any other questions?
Cool, fine. I think I heard in another talk, the Braintree client token can be used in PayPal SDK. Can you confirm? But
You're talking about PayPal V6, right?
yeah, I think that it goes in the B6.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you all.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.